glory to my God, yeah. I did my toe and now I'm fresh, yeah. Shout out to my y'all, but yeah, I follow, no regrets, yeah. They ain't learn a lesson, I'm still blessed when disrespected. Father got me eating while they out here looking packaged. Ugh. You just mad I ain't following Twitter D. Looking at me like enemy, only like in vicinity. I'm so high with the energy, yeah, you follow his way, yeah. Follow his way, yeah. Laser light show never fade, no. Ain't no stage chill, we got all night, no switch, we that bright light. On lane, we might take flight. Flight check ain't no right height. We don't fall or lose sight. Follow his way, yeah. Follow his way, yeah. We got the juice, we got the watts. Ain't no way we fading. They go low and we go high. They play ego limbo on the other side. We keep humble, ain't no honor in your pride. Lying in me, lethal weapon on my side. Praise my God, promise we ain't coming down. Same thing for the crown, same thing for the team. Breaking down any ob, only caring about what God say. Mobbing hard with the tribe, yeah. All the glory to my Yahweh, all the glory to my God, yeah. Praise God, praise God, praise God, praise God, praise God, praise God. Yeah. Yeah, hey, they go low and we go high. They play ego limbo on the other side. We keep humble, ain't no honor in your pride. Lying in me, lethal weapon on my side. Praise my God, promise we ain't coming down. Same thing for the crown, same thing for the team. Breaking down any ob, only caring about what God say. Mobbing hard with the tribe, yeah. All the glory to my Yahweh, all the glory to my God, yeah. I did my toe and now I'm fresh, yeah. Shout out to my y'all, but yeah, I follow, no regrets, yeah. They ain't learn a lesson, I'm still blessed when disrespected. Father got me eating while they out here looking packaged. Ugh. You just mad I ain't following Twitter D. Looking at me like enemy, only like in vicinity. I'm so high with the energy, yeah, you follow his way, yeah. Follow his way, yeah. Laser light show never fade, no. Ain't no stage chill, we got all night, no switch, we that bright light. On lane, we might take flight. Flight check ain't no right height. We don't fall or lose sight. Follow his way, yeah. Follow his way, yeah. We got the juice, we got the watts. Ain't no way we fading. They go low and we go high. They play ego limbo on the other side. We keep humble, ain't no honor in your pride. Lying in me, lethal weapon on my side. Praise my God, promise we ain't coming down. Same thing for the crown, same thing for the team. Breaking down any ob, only caring about what God say. Mobbing hard with the tribe, yeah. All the glory to my Yahweh, all the glory to my God, yeah. Praise God, praise God, praise God, praise God, praise God, praise God. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, they go low and we go high. They play ego limbo on the other side. We keep humble, ain't no honor in your pride. Lying in me, lethal weapon on my side. Praise my God, promise we ain't coming down. Same thing for the crown, same thing for the team. Breaking down any ob, only caring about what God say. Mobbing hard with the tribe, yeah. All the glory to my Yahweh, all the glory to my God, yeah. I did my toe and now I'm fresh, yeah. Shout out to my y'all, but yeah, I follow, no regrets, yeah. They ain't learn a lesson, I'm still blessed when disrespected. Father got me eating while they out here looking packaged. Ugh. You just mad I ain't following Twitter D. Looking at me like enemy, only like in vicinity. I'm so high with the energy, yeah, you follow his way, yeah. Follow his way, yeah. Laser light show never fade, no. Ain't no stage chill, we got all night, no switch, we that bright light. On lane, we might take flight. Flight check ain't no right height. We don't fall or lose sight. Follow his way, yeah. Follow his way, yeah. We got the juice, we got the watts. Ain't no way we fading. They go low and we go high. They play ego limbo on the other side. We keep humble, ain't no honor in your pride. Lying in me, lethal weapon on my side. Praise my God. God. Promise we ain't coming down. Same thing for the crown. Same thing for the team. Breaking down any op. Only caring about what God say. Mobbing hard with the tribe, yeah. All the glory to my Yahweh. All the glory to my God, yeah. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, they go low and we go high. They play ego limbo on the other side. We keep humble, ain't no honor in your pride. Lying in me, lethal weapon on my side. Praise my God, promise we ain't coming down. Same thing for the crown, same thing for the team. Breaking down any op, only caring about what God say. Mobbing hard with the tribe, yeah. All the glory to my Yahweh, all the glory to my God, yeah. I did my toe and now I'm fresh, yeah. Shout out to my Abba, yeah. I follow, no regrets, yeah. They ain't learn their lesson.
Peace, peace, peace. What's going on, family? What's going on, family? Very stressful 2 days for a lot of Americans. And I feel as if it is necessary to talk about evening the playing field as they try to tug on the heartstrings of Americans to go along with everything that is going on and everything that will be going on in the next couple of weeks as they try to figure out whether they're going to impeach Donald Trump as they have been since the day he was made president. So they probably now they probably will have a unanimous way to actually impeach the president. Maybe that it just depends on how many Republicans actually want to join in on the impeachment process. So we still have to go through that process. That's a process unto itself. So we don't know what will happen. They've already drawn up articles of impeachment in the Senate. As we know, the Senate Majority Leader right now is Nancy Pelosi. And with Nancy Pelosi being the Senate Majority Leader, she is the one who is going to rally for the Senate to pass this to the House. So, yeah, that's exactly what it is. But that is not what we're here for. We are here to balance the scales on what we should actually be looking at and how these politicians have been playing mind tricks, allowing you to forget inside of the coronavirus of what they actually were doing this entire time, even up until the actual election. A lot of people don't remember the many calls for this type of violence, this type of activism on the parts of Democrats to go against Republicans. There was a whole episode where they were calling for milkshaking of people who had separate ideologies of them on the left, liberals. The whole reason why we have Antifa is because of the liberals. Antifa has been causing chaos on both sides, and they are a terrorist group. I marched in this last segment of the rallies for Black Lives Matter, not for the actual organization, because we know I don't get along with that ideology. But I do understand the need and the necessity to fight for certain things to protect the lives of minorities. I do understand that. And that agrees with me when it comes to my Christianity. But a lot of the other things that they do does not agree with my Christianity as to why I do not subscribe to the organization, just the stance as far as it goes of protecting American citizens, especially minority American citizens, and protecting the underprivileged protecting those who cannot take care of themselves. So that's enough about me. We're going to get into this video. One of the things I really wanted to point out was, again, the hypocrisy that is going on right now as all of these people are trying to stand on their moral high grounds when so many times they've agreed with the news on how they handled how they talk about the Republican Party, how they talk about MAGA supporters, how they talk about just how they talk about the other side. And we know that the national news is mainly liberal. Mainly, you can only name about 1 or 2 channels that are out right now that are right-leaning. You can only name about 2. But the rest of television is all liberal. And every time they get on their bullpit, they get in the bullpit and start getting on their bullhorn, what do? They rally against the other side, tell you how bad they are, how small their brains are. They insult these people, and they've been doing it since the beginning. When Trump started to get any type of investment into his campaign, that's when they ramped up talking about how stupid these people are. They're backwoods hillbillies, not taking their races, not taking in consideration that there are people of all creeds and cultures who supported this man. Not only in the election of 2016, but also in the election of 2020. We cannot choose to decide who voted for this man and make it seem as one party is a party of one segment of America, because it's not. We know that America is a melting pot. Both sides have a melting pot of people in their parties. There is no party when we have this dualist, two-sided party system. We don't have any approach on either side that says there's only one community that supports. However, we do know that the Democrats mostly lean towards black people for a large voting block. But now that we've been dissipating, now they want to go for how they choose to call them, the Latinx community, even though they themselves do not call themselves the Latinx community. So, going deeper into the mentality, they have continuously failed to denounce the violence that has happened to Republicans. Let us not forget, during a baseball game, there were senators who were shot. There was one specific senator that was shot, but there were senators who were shot at during a baseball game by a supposed, alleged Bernie Sanders supporter. They tried to blame this on Donald Trump originally, but through the manifesto of this shooter, again, this was a supposed Bernie Sanders supporter. He had all of the paraphernalia for Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton. He had everything necessary for that to be the case. And they still never really denounced him as an individual. They said he was a lone wolf. But they still continue to carry out talking points telling people to commit acts of violence and to approach and to fight against and push back against Republicans as a whole. First video I want to bring to your attention, my dear congregation. We're going to look at a video and a couple of these videos are specifically from Maxine Waters, although Maxine Waters herself has not been the only And we're going to see it. She has not been the only Democrat to call for this type of, and I shouldn't call it activism, this form of terrorism on American senators, on the American government. So here we are. This is Maxine Waters during a demonstration.
If we can't protect the children, we can't protect anybody. If you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
This is a stand up against Trump rally, where she told them to stand up against them, push back, tell them they're not welcome. Who are you talking about? You're talking about governing government officials. How different is it for you to tell them to get in the personal spaces during the personal time of American senators and congressmen, just government officials in general, right? How is it any difference for you to tell your people to do that, and then on the flip side, your party come out and not condemn you? They did not condemn you, but they also turned around, supported what you said across the board, right? But then when we come to the situation of what happened after Trump's last rally, when it comes to that, now it's Trump's fault. We have many cases over the years of violence from the left when it comes to anyone who supports Donald Trump. But yet and still, you don't hear widespread denouncing. They're fighting for our freedom. They're fighting against the bad man. They're fighting against Nazis and fascists. That's what you rooted for. And these people who you alienated became an army. Oh, let's not forget that we know that Antifa also was a part of that crowd who stormed QAnon, who stormed the Capitol building. Let us not forget this. The people on your side were a part of this stoking of the fires and pouring gasoline on the fires to make this happen. Oh, this ain't the only one, though. This ain't the only one. This is not the only visuals we got. This is not the only visual that we have. Let's play it again. I want you to hear what she says and listen and think about it. Is this the same? Is this not the same type of language that they're trying to tell us that Trump used? That Trump used in his speech, and this wasn't denounced. Let me play this back. Create a crowd, a mob. And you tell them that you're not welcome. You push back on them and tell them that you're not welcome. How is that any different? So for you people to not denounce Maxine Waters at this time, for you to not denounce her, because y'all push for this. This was a part of a lot of y'all platforms. But again, this ain't the only one. This ain't the only one. Again, Maxine Waters.
I want to play some sound from a recent LGBT event that you were at. that has drawn a lot of criticism. Let's listen to it.
Wow, what a moving evening this is. I am sitting here listening, watching, absorbing, thinking about Ali, even though I never met him. And with this kind of inspiration, I will go and take Trump out tonight.
She going what? Take Trump out tonight. This is in context. I'm not bringing, and this is on CNN. This is CNN even says is asking her what she meant by that. Very vocal. But when it comes to the people who run the party, they don't speak out against this woman. But the people in her party have been doing this for years. For years. Let's go to AOC.
America is safe.
I want to play some sound from a recent LGBT.
AOC. This is
America is.
This is something from America Uncovered, where they talked about the tweet from AOC about their plan to round up all of the Trump voters and anybody who voted for Trump and anybody who thinks like Trump or anybody who's rallied for Trump, round them up, put them on a blacklist, make sure that they don't have jobs, make sure they get fired from their jobs. This is what AOC was asking for, but this is their darling star. Is that not violence? Is that not what the Nazis did in Auschwitz? Is that not what happened? Let's look at the video. Because these people are very hypocritical in this moment. And this should be a learning lesson for anyone, regardless of party. Because it's not just their party, it's the media that they also fund.
Saved from fascism. Our left politicians are calling for a purge of any and all Trump supporters. Democratic Socialist Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez asked, "Is anyone archiving these Trump sycophants for when they try to downplay or deny their complicity in the future? I foresee decent probability of many deleted tweets, writings, photos in the future." That's a big job.
This is her. This is not me. The evidence is already out there for these people. It's already out there for these people. She says, and I quote again from what she said, this is a U.S. House candidate. Is anyone archiving these Trump sycophants for when they try to downplay or deny their complicity in the future? I foresee decent probability of many deleted tweets, writers for the future. Then she goes and says, hold on, let me find it. Where we have the Trump Accountability Project. The Trump Accountability Project, as we see here.
Former Obama administration staffer Michael Simon said, "Yes, we are." So, may I present to you the Trump Accountability Project. It urges that we must never forget those who helped further the Trump agenda. The world should never forget those who, when faced with a decision, chose to put their money, their time, and their reputations behind separating children from their families, encouraging racism and anti-Semitism, and negligently causing the unnecessary loss of life and economic devastation from our country's failed response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The site is a self-described permanent record of people who elected Trump, staffed his government, served him, funded him, supported him, and represented him. And the site even includes this nice public list of names, including federal judges appointed by Trump.
It's not done, though. They want to round these people up because of what? Their political ideology and affiliations? Is this what we're doing? They basically are doxing Americans. And as we see right here, we should keep and publish a list of everyone who assists Trump's frivolous and dangerous attacks on the election. Name and shame forever.
Others have suggested we should keep and publish a list of everyone who assists Trump's frivolous and dangerous attacks on the election. Name and shame forever.
Who's
Name
calling
and
her
shame
out?
forever. I love democracy.
Who is calling this out? Nobody? Because she did this right after the election. But who is calling this out? Didn't hear anybody call this out. Not Nancy Pelosi, not Chuck Schumer, anybody on the left right now who is calling for the impeachment of the president didn't ask AOC, their darling, to stand down or resign because of what she did to stoke the fires. But they don't talk about this part of it. They don't talk about this part of it.
Democracy. So what dangerous attacks on the election was this guy talking about? Well, as I mentioned in my previous episode, voter fraud, the election isn't over yet. Joe Biden hasn't technically won the election at this point. A lot of media may have declared.
And I'm going to skip past this. I want to go to this from Harry Suva. I don't know what the man's name is. I can't say it properly, but here we go.
Trump
Another
attack
tweet.
American values. Excellent. This way, the Barack Obama campaign. He tweeted, White House staff are starting to look for jobs. Employers considering them should know there are consequences for hiring anyone who helped Trump attack American values. Excellent. This way,
It gets deeper. I'm trying to tell you it gets deeper because the hypocrisy on the left is so blatant. It's so blatant in this situation. They have no need or necessity or reason as to why they're sitting up here talking about we need to impeach Trump when they've been stoking the fires for the last 4 years. And I'm not protecting Donald Trump from what he says, what he said and what is happening. What I'm saying is if there's going to be some accountability, it has to be accountability of not just one person. And you're not going to sit up here and scapegoat when you are also the problem. You people are also the problem.
Look, I've been watching a lot of CNN. I've been in air.
So I'm going to show you guys a clip from a video or a compilation of videos that came out that will show you the many times, not just one Democrat, but many Democrats have called for violence against Republicans and Trump supporters. I got this from the Daily Wire. It's not again, this ain't got nothing to do with political affiliation. It has to do with the balancing of the scales. Our government is at fault for anything that transpired and or has transpired and or will transpire due to this type of rhetoric.
President Trump recently.
They go low, we kick.
And if you see anybody in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
This is during the Kavanaugh situation. This is during the Kavanaugh being sworn in. They were at the Supreme Court beating on the door. How is this any different? You know why it's different? Because those who win create the history.
You cannot be civil
This is Hillary Clinton we're listening to.
with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
Get up and please.
You can't be civil. You can't be civil. Let's listen to it. You can't be civil with a party who wants to destroy
What you stand for, what you care about.
Get up.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
Get up.
You cannot be civil with a You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about.
Get up.
That's Hillary Clinton you're listening to. Hillary Clinton herself said you can't be civil. You can't be civil. The opposite of civility, what they're asking for now. What Trump actually asked for was for them to go home and be peaceful. What everyone asked them to do was go home and be peaceful. This is the type of rhetoric that had gone on for 4 years when it came to liberals. And then it was the time of the Republicans and the stoking of their fire. Now they're coming out and this has happened. Now we're blaming Donald Trump. Touche.
Up and
This is Cory Booker you're about to hear.
please get up in the face of some Congress people.
Is this the quote?
Please get up in the face of some Congress people. Please get up in the face of some Congress people. Is that not what they did? Or were trying to achieve by storming the Capitol? Because we know from one of the videos, there is a video of the young woman who got shot, and my condolences to her family. But she was not just rallying about an election. It wasn't just about the election for these people. It was the fact that they're suffering and the government does not care.
Unquote. Mob.
Again, a mob at the Kavanaugh. A mob at the Kavanaugh when he was sworn in.
People.
Is this the quote unquote mob?
Yes, it is. And they never want to admit fault. They're just protesters. The same thing that many of the black people say that they do to us, right? They do it to them. They do it to them all the time. You guys have no business being here. You guys have no business being here. Go back home the way you came from. Go back to where you came from. Don't that sound like some racist rhetoric? But it's coming from y'all. But then you sit up here and want to feel as if you have some kind of moral compass or moral stance when it comes to this situation. If you're going to condemn it all, not just one part. Condemn it all. So I wanted y'all to see the icing on the cake. I want you to see the icing on the cake because
America is saved
we
from
cannot
fascism.
forget that this happened. We cannot forget that this happened. And again, this is Maxine Waters. This is Maxine Waters again. This happened. Democrats and Republicans are upset because senators, congressmen were going against certifying the vote for President Trump. But it's literally deja vu. The difference is there was support behind it. Not just for the senators and the congressmen. It was not just the Senate and the congressmen who stood behind it. Not just them. But there were American people who stood behind them. in non-certification of the vote. I believe Ted Cruz came out and said the demographic was 34% of Americans feel as if there was a sham in this election, that this election was not a true election. He gave the stat of 18% of Democrats believe that this was a stolen election. But they don't even want to look into it. They don't even want to look into it. We can say they looked into it all we want to. But to stop it and not even do some semblance of some type of, some type of investigation at this point, it's ludicrous. You should want to you should want to put out the fire of people saying that the election was stolen. You should want to. You know how y'all did the Russiagate the entire time? For 2 years, we had to deal with Russiagate. 2 years we dealt with Russiagate. But then when it comes to Votergate, Electiongate 2020, no, we're not going to look into that. That don't matter. We won. We won. And again, I don't care who won or that's not my concern. My concern is don't feel like you're in the right because of your party, because they are dead in the wrong too. They are dead in the wrong too. So I'm going to play this video, and I want you to hear what Maxine Waters said. She's a Democrat, by the way. What she had to say.
To ask, is there one
Oh yeah, and this is in 2016 while they're trying to certify the vote.
United States Senator who will join me in this letter
There
of
is no
rejection?
debate. There is no debate.
That's one.
The gentlewoman will suspend. The chair has previously ruled a signature from a senator is required. Objection cannot be received.
But what happened during this election? The senators did sign. They had 60 senators who signed. I truly feel there was a lot of fishiness going on when it comes to these people storming the gates. Because there are a lot of, and I'm probably going to show this later on or in another video, even if I feel like doing it. But there are a lot of videos circulating around where you have Capitol Police taking selfies. You have the police union leaders saying they still endorse Donald Trump, as well as you have video of them letting them in. Them letting them in to the Capitol. So there were a lot of videos of the police fighting, the Capitol Police fighting back. There were also videos of them allowing the people to do what they did. This is what happened when you run around talking about defund the police, but you also need that same police force to protect you in Congress. I truly believe this was a pushback from the police. When they continue to rally behind, and the Democrats know it, they know they lost many of the seats that they needed because they rallied behind defund the police. They said it in a couple of little backroom talk calls that we got to hear. Defund the police resonates with many police who are also Trump supporters. But they never thought about that. They could have easily said, let us do an investigation and quell the hearts and minds of the people. But yet again, our government does not care about what the people want because they are in power and we are the ones who run this country, and we're going to tell you what it is that you should think and what you should do. They're going to tell you exactly how you should feel. And you should just shut up, take your $600 and go somewhere because we're in power. That is the message that you've given to many Americans. And again, there's a video of the young woman who was killed, who was shot in the Capitol building, who was shot in the Capitol building, where she talked about how bad it was in California and how the government had not been doing anything for her in her situation and the people that she knew and she loved. And she was very adamant about fighting for the rights of these people. And she died for the rights of fighting for her people. Can I call these people terrorists like they're trying to say that they are? No. No more than I can call the rioters who burned down police stations and took over whole segments of cities terrorists. Little do we forget, they make us feel as if we have the brain cells or the memory of goldfish. They make it seem as if none of this was recent history. 4 years is not a long time. Literally, most of this stuff happened in the summer. You know, back when Nancy Pelosi herself was rallying against Donald Trump when it came to stimulus negotiations, because she was waiting for the election so that he could not win election due to the inability and the stalemate for stimulus for the people. You remember that? Yeah. That was part of the problem. Because I guarantee, had these people been giving proper health care during a pandemic, proper funding during a pandemic, this would not be as much of an issue as it has become. You told them to go home and not work. Lessen their hours at work. So they got way more time to go do this. But you want to blame Trump for that. You want to scapegoat Donald Trump for that. I implore you, the blood is on your hands also. The blood of all of these Congress people. The blood of the blood is on the hands of our entire government. Because they choose to not react, to not move, to not have some type of purpose and urgency when it comes to the people. Especially during a pandemic. Especially during a pandemic. They keep forgetting what they've done. And they want to push it off and say it's someone else's fault. So narcissistic. This is an abusive relationship we have with our government. This is an abusive relationship we have with our government. And I don't think they even care. Because abusers never truly are sorry. They're never truly sorry for what they've done. Calling for accountability is the accountability of the entire body of the government. Love you guys, man. Love your neighbors as yourself. And love God with all your heart. Peace.
Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Praise God. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, they go low and